Now, we had a teacher, I'm going to call a teacher until I have permission to say other. But I don't know where this person is, but they provided a document dump of what's happening in the schoolhouses, at least in their state. But this is not a problem with just one district or one state. It is everywhere. On Wednesday night, I'm going to show you 800 documents, and one is more terrifying than the next. Today, I want to show you one. This is the Black Panthers 10-point program. Now, according to the documents that we have seen, the idea is to get kids to think that the Black Panthers are neat and that they're great and they did a great service in the past and they're good friends now. And this particular school assignment is to memorize the Black Panthers 10-point program. We believe that black and oppressed people will not be free until we're able to determine our destinies and our own communities ourselves by fully controlling all of the institutions which exist in our communities. That's point number one. So in other words, you can't hire a white person. You cannot have a white person in that government. This is the reason why we have freedom of religion. We have it because the state wanted to control who could actually participate in the state. Wait, what? If you wanted to be the mayor of a town, and our founders went from village to village, town to town, to testify on behalf of a separation of church and state, if you will. The churches are protected so the government cannot interfere with the churches. But also, the founders felt it was important that you didn't have a litmus test that you had to go to this particular church or believe this kind of set of beliefs to be able to run for office or be a member of the community. Well, that's exactly what Black Lives Matter or the Black Panthers want in point number one. Number two, we want full employment for our people. We believe the federal government is responsible and obligated to give every person employment or a guaranteed income. Number three, we believe that this racist government has robbed us, and we are now demanding that overdue debt of 40 acres and 2 mules. 40 acres and 2 mules were promised 100 years ago as restitution for slave labor and the mass murder of black people. We will accept the payment in currency, which will be distributed to our many communities. We believe, number four, we believe that if landlords will not give decent housing to our black and oppressed communities, then housing and the land should be made into cooperatives so people in our communities with government aid can build and make decent housing for people. Number five, we want a decent education for our people. We believe in an educational system that will give our people a knowledge of the self. If you don't have a knowledge of yourself and your position in society and in the world, then you'll have little chance to know anything else. Number six, we believe the government must provide free of charge for all people health facilities, which do not only treat our illnesses, most of which have come about as a result of our oppression, but which also will develop preventative medical programs to guarantee our future survival. We believe that mass health education and research programs must be developed to give all black and oppressed people access to advanced scientific and medical information so we may provide ourselves with proper medical attention and care. That one's called the internet, dude. Number seven, we believe that the racist and fascist government of the United States uses its domestic enforcement agencies to carry out its programs of oppression against black people, other people of color, and poor people inside the United States. It is our right to defend ourselves against such armed forces, and that all black and oppressed people should be armed for self-defense of our homes, our communities against these fascist police forces. So blacks could have guns, but others can't. We want an immediate end to all wars of aggression. We believe the various conflicts in which exist around the world stem directly from the aggressive desire of the United States ruling circle and government to force its domination upon the oppressed people of the world, blah, blah, blah. Number 9, we want freedom. We believe that the many black and poor oppressed people held in the United States prisons and jails have not received fair and impartial trials under a racist and fascist judicial system and should be free. We want land, bread, housing, education, clothing, justice, peace, and people's community control over modern technology. That's number 10. So your kids have to study all of this. And then, in a really interesting second document, the worksheet that goes along with this, students will be given the worksheet to make sure they retain the information. And here it is, the worksheet for the Black Panther 10-point program. Number 1, your kids are asked, prior to reading this, what impressions did you have of the Black Panthers? What images might come to mind when you think of them? Why is that a bad question? Why? Well, I think it's research, one. How can we improve our image? I mean, what company wouldn't want to have a read of their brand and how they're viewed by everyone under 20? What a great free piece of marketing that would be. Also, we're also putting your kids on record. How racist are they? What images come to mind when you think of the Black Panthers? When the Panthers denounce robbery by the capitalist and say that the government should give every man employment or guaranteed income or else give back the means of production to the community, what political philosophy or system of government comes to mind? Does this sound like something you've studied before? Which point of the 10-point platform do you disagree with most? Why? Is there one that you strongly agree with? Why? Again, research and record on your children. Now, you might think, the Black Panthers never... Well, a lot of people in Germany never thought the Nazis would come into power. Would you want a record forever from your kid's high school career? You know how many people have lost their jobs for something that they wrote about in high school or said during high school? Look at what's happening. Look at Brett Kavanaugh. Can you imagine they have a record of what your kids thought about one way or another? This is, according to the Black Panther, what conditions might justify violence. This is obscene. This is one document. They get much worse than this. This is one document that we will be exposing that are being floated and put into action in schools across the country. You must be involved in your school. If your kids are going to school, you need to know everything that they're teaching. I'm not somebody who says burn books. That's the left. I don't believe in that. I have a copy of Mao's Little Red Book, and I have a copy of Mein Kampf. I've read them both. I have a copy of the Quran. I also have a copy of the Apocrypha scriptures. I have King James Version. I have all kinds of books in my house. I believe in understanding other people. That's not what this is. This is indoctrination. What this is an indoctrination, and quite honestly, I believe a trap for your children. Behave, toe the line, or else. Imagine the power that these documents would have if they were held 10 years from now. Wow, did you know that in 10th grade, do you remember writing this about the Black Panthers? God help them. Well, he will, but he won't do anything if we don't act first. Get into your schools. Do it. Become informed. Know what's going on. Don't miss this Wednesday special where we'll go through all of these documents And I believe we have the Secretary of Education on, Betsy DeVos. I'm not sure if that's been confirmed yet, but I think she is on Wednesday's broadcast as well. You don't want to miss this. blazetv.com/Glenn. Use the promo code Glenn. You'll save 10% right now, but join us and share this information. It's blazetv.com/Glenn. That's Wednesday night.
Racist. You've really got to understand, first and foremost, look, when you have not a prefix, when you have a suffix to a word, I like the fact that you're wearing your bow tie. It means that you're an intelligent man, so you will understand what I'm saying. When you have a suffix, when you have an ist at the end of the word, it is something that is informing you about the expertise or the quality or the skill involved in that particular thing. For instance, a pianist, a violinist, a scientist, a racist. Okay, why do you have this suffix? It is because when one is proficient in the violin, one becomes a violinist. When one is proficient in science, one becomes a scientist. When one loves his race, one is a racist. However, it does not necessarily mean it has to be in a negative way. For instance, let me explain, please. Let me explain. When Elijah Muhammad was born in 1897, racism was in the world.
That's right. That's right.
Right? You agree with me? Okay, so don't talk about Elijah like he invented racism. Racism was in the world. The slave master came for us in 1555, 400 years ago, and we can take it back beyond that. However, the point I'm making is this. Now, with Elijah, you got to understand now that he was born into a world where he was witnessing black men being lynched. He grew up in that era where black men were hung for no reason, where we were subject to all manner of disgusting treatment and disgusting laws. Ku Klux Klan killing us, burning us at the stake for no reason other than the fact that we were black people. Now, when Elijah Muhammad, look, the Jews, Adolf Hitler engineered a program where he caused 6 million Jews to be killed in gas chambers during the Second World War. Go to any self-respecting Jew today and ask them, what is Adolf Hitler? And they will tell you he was a devil.
That's right.
What is a devil? The word devil is a term that means, the word devil is a term that means one who devalues.
That's right.
A devaluer. Those Jewish lies were valuable in the eyes of God. But here is a man that comes along now and takes away the value of human beings and destroys them as a human reality. That is the act of a devil. This book, Quran, talks about the devils and talks about people, human beings who are devils in the manifest evil that they do. Now, that was over 4 years that Hitler was doing his devilishment.
Teach.
We can count back 400 years of the most brutal treatment. Look, they took my name, my language, my culture. They killed my mother, my father, denied me religion, disallowed me to read or write for over 300 years, reduced me to the level of an animal where they branded me on my chest, branded me on my buttocks with a branding iron. And they called me 3/5 of a human being in the American Constitution. Is that the act of a human being or the act of a devil? It's for you. You answer it. We're not, just calling white people names. No! We're just going on the basis of what we have experienced. And so Elijah Muhammad was not a racist in the negative, but he was a racist, yes, in that he at last loved himself and loved his people. Black people were taught to hate ourselves.
That's right.
Even to this day, many of my people suffer from self-hatred.
Teach, Muhammad.
And you will see us trying to change our skin color.
Teach, Muhammad.
When I was born in the 50s, in Jamaica, they would take, like my nose, the mothers would sometimes take the nose and try to squash it.
That's right.
To make it straighter, because they didn't like this nose because it was too, what they call negroid. And they would try and squash it because they'd been so conditioned to hate self that they felt that the baby was ugly if it had thick lips and broad nose and black skin. And so this is in order to counterbalance that degree of self-hatred, there had to be a teaching given by Elijah to black people that would allow us to fall in love once again with ourselves.
That's right.
To have self-respect and to identify that one who was primarily responsible for our destruction. And so I say to you, I understand. Now, just to address the point that you made about the mad scientist. We hear this all the time, but at no point did we say the scientist was mad.
That's right.
That's the only thing I wanted to correct you on. Everything else is correct. Yes, the Caucasian was created or made via a process of genetic engineering.
That's right.
This is the history that we have been. Yes, it's true. Yes, it's true. Huh?
Older group.
What's an older group?
In anthropology, it's an older group.
The Caucasian?
Yes.
No, sir.
Older group in the three groups.
No.
Negroes and
Okay, let's deal with it.
The origination of the word human.
Yes, I will. Thank you very much. Let's deal with this. See, because look, I know you're a wise man, and so you must understand that I'm a baby in wisdom, but I'm not a fool. And he's saying here today that the Caucasian is in fact the oldest group on the planet. I beg to differ. Look, one of the most famous anthropologists is Professor Leakey. And when Professor Leakey went in search of the origin of human beings and human species, he didn't stop very long in Europe. He went to Africa. And the oldest bones and the oldest human beings to this day that you call Zinjanthropus, using the Latin meaning Zin and Xanthropus, meaning a black man, that oldest man, they say, is millions of years old. You went back and found one even older than that. You called her Lucy, a black woman.
Go ahead.
And every sensible historian, anthropologist today agrees that the black man is the father of human beings. Even your geneticist, Mr. Mendel.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You have Mendel's law.
Go ahead.
Mendel says that light eyes are recessive, light skin is recessive. You can take the recessive, the dark skin is dominant, the dark eyes are dominant. You can take the recessive from the dominant, but you can't get the dominant from the recessive.
Where did the
This is Mendel's law. And so all of your scientists have proved
Teach, Muhammad.
that you
Go ahead.
can't look. Black is not even a color.
That's right. Teach.
Black is the mother and father of all colors.
Teach.
That's why the scripture says, in the beginning was blackness. And if you want a baby, even if the woman is a white woman, the baby has to come out of the triple darkness of her womb. And this is the origin of all life. Within the black, you have the whole color spectrum. But in white, two white people laying down together, they can only produce white. But two black people in darkest Africa can lay down together and produce albino with blonde hair and blue eyes.
That's right. Teach, Muhammad.
This happens all the time. And so we need to really get these facts correct today and understand that as gray as your hair is, you are listening to your father today.
Teach, Muhammad.
This is daddy talking.
Teach.
And we mustn't turn. No, this is true. I'm not mocking. This is true. And I'm